This is verse 5 of the 5th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. We're in the midst of the Beatitudes, the pronouncements of blessing. And we reach the third of them now, here in verse 5. So we have Makario. Same word as before. Means being happy or contented or in a state of well-being. A situation of life in which one finds oneself without having a desperate desire for other things, but in a situation in which there's a sense that all is well. So Makario, of course, implied here in all of these is the verb of being. It would be asen, are, third person plural, but it's not actually stated. Oftentimes the various forms of me, I am, are simply present by implication. That's the situation here. So blessed, and then hoi, praes, an adjective. It means meek. Praos is the original word. This is the nominative masculine plural. So blessed are the meek. The word meek rhymes in English with weak, and unfortunately people sometimes make that little association. The words have nothing to do with each other, of course, in the language here. Meek really has the idea of being gentle. It has nothing to do with being weak. In fact, it may imply something that's very strong. The word can be applied to an animal that's been domesticated. May have great strength, but nevertheless that strength is being used in a controlled fashion. And that's the idea here. Blessed are the gentle. It actually was used in Hebrew to imply a notion of being teachable. And that would be a pretty good notion. So it, although it normally uses the context of people with other people, it nevertheless has its roots ultimately in a connection with God, to be teachable before God, not resistant, not rebellious, not stiff-necked, is the metaphor that's used in the Old Testament sometimes. So blessed are the teachable, the meek, the gentle. The opposite of being a bully would be the notion. It's whatever the opposite of that state of mind is really what's going on here. So blessed the meek, hoti, conjunction because, again, the intensive use of the third person pronoun, autoi, they themselves, and then klero no mesusen. This is from klero no eo, contract verb, means to inherit. I inherit. They, this is, of course, a future active indicative, third person plural, they will inherit. So the prediction here of Jesus, those who are gentle, not bullying their way through life, not demanding, pushing, and so on, but having a gentle attitude about them, they are going to inherit, tain, gain. In the accusative, the direct object, the earth is the way it's usually rendered. And the word gain from our English word geo is the idea. It means the land. It can be rather expansive, but didn't necessarily mean to the ancients the notion of the earth as we think of it, as a globe, of course, rotating or revolving around the sun, but simply the fruit of the land, the ultimate benefit of those who have labor to till the land and so on. They will be in the inheritance. In other words, the whole point is that in order to get the benefits of God's creation, it's not necessary to be pushy. That's exactly the opposite of what Jesus enjoins here. But rather that out of that broken heart, that sense of being poor in spirit, and the lament that flows from it is a natural sort of state of gentleness, and that in spite of present appearances, they are the ones that ultimately receive the benefits of God's blessing.